So last night we were cut off, but I wanted to finish my budget because I did run into a little snag. So this is part two of the Budget with Me live that started last night. Not really for sure what happened. YouTube just didn't want to let me get back on. So for those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Stacey Flowers. I'm a student of Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. I'm on a journey to become 100% debt free. I'm on baby step number 2 to repay all of my debts, and I have paid off all of my medical, my IRS, and business debt, and I'm down to one type of debt, my student loans, and that is what I'm paying off. So if you missed it yesterday, I actually did my quick start budget, and so my needs come up to about $2,414.84. And I had just started to get into my cash flow plan, and in me getting into my cash flow plan, I was over here on my personal side and I realized that I had about $90 left, but I hadn't allocated anything for therapy. And even when I tried to allocate for therapy, it would only be one session. And we all know that that's just not happening around this time because I need more than that right now. So I was going to try to do it at one, and I'm just like, I already know that I'm not going to do that. So I'm actually going to change this to 240, which allows me to go to therapy each week. And even though one of the weeks is going to be a holiday week, I'll probably just double up before I go out of town or something like that. So that means right now I'm over budget. So I'm just going to do the math for you guys, and then you guys can actually watch me reconcile this, and then I'll be done. So I have my tithes at 500, my child support at 500, rent and my second gas at 937, my utilities at 95.82, my groceries at 100, my transportation at 50, and then probably I should put my dentist premium right there, but we'll just put dental care. Dental care is new. We might actually end up taking that off, but we'll see. Plus my insurance coverages, so life insurance, health insurance, homeowner, and dental care premium comes to $232.02. And then my minimum student loan payment, because we know that that's not changing. So that brings me to, I'm just going to write this number down because we know what we're working with. All right. So things that I'm definitely doing is I'm definitely going to therapy. And then my gym premium comes out automatically. I'll have to double check to see if I started paying for my trainer in November or December. I really feel like I started paying for it in December. So I might be at the place in my contract where I can go month to month, and maybe perhaps I'll skip that month, but I'll come back down to that. I know I was going to give myself $20 in pocket money, but I can go ahead and forego that this month because I'd rather go to therapy. I wanted to give my son some money to get his dad a birthday gift, is essentially what that boils down to. The medical cost for my son. So for the medical cost for my son, potentially what I could do here, because I'll get billed in November, but maybe instead of just having it set aside, like I'll pay it in December, because you'll get billed in November and then it'll be due by December. I prefer not to do that, but potentially that may be what I end up doing here, just to bring my budget to zero. So let me put in the rest of these, my trainer, and then to go home for Thanksgiving, I want to prepare for that. And then, yeah, so let me see, minus 5,000. So that equals this 70. The gym is twice because I have a membership and then I pay for a trainer. So I have 70.18 left. And so what I'm going to do with that is I'm just going to put that towards the medical expense that I would create for my son. I'll just start saving up for that lump sum. So that's what I'm going to do. So essentially what I did is I took, you said you saw for 49.99 twice. Let me see. or maybe I put it twice in the calculator. Okay, I'm gonna re-add everything up or subtract everything to bring it to 0. So 5,000. So my son is in football right now. So during football season, he doesn't have work hours. So that would be the reason why. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna subtract these numbers. So let me say them out loud as I'm doing it. Okay, so $5,000 is my income for November, minus 500 for tithes, minus 500 for my child support, minus 937 for my rent and second gas, minus 95.82 for my utilities, minus 100 for my groceries, minus 50 for my transportation. Did he save money while he was working? He did, but I mean, he possibly could spend it on there, spend it on that. And maybe I'll just discuss it with him when I go in town, but we'll see. Minus my insurances of $232.02, minus therapy of $240, minus $49.99 for gym, minus the $400 for trainer, minus $125 for Thanksgiving. I'll come back to that medical one. Minus 50, minus 1,600. Okay, so yeah, I did put it in there twice because that leaves 120.17. So then that means I can leave 120.17 for my son's budget. And given that this is going to be a medical expense, maybe I can talk to him about getting his dad's gift out of his savings and then just bringing that up into his medical budget as well. So that will put it at 170.17 for his medical budget, which is still closer to the 250 than not. And then I can just talk to him about pulling out B-Day money from his savings. I can't remember what were the things that we set for going into his savings, but that'll probably work out that way. And then that way everything still gets taken care of that I need and I want to get taken care of. Like B-Day stuff is a nice to do, but it's not a have to do. And rather than creating a significant medical bill, I rather just have that covered. And again, with the medical bill, I don't know how much it's going to be for that actual cost. I'm just thinking at least 250 put to the side would be able to be something that should be sufficient. So now having it at 170.17, that's still a really good amount to set to the side. As maybe the medical thing will be like 150, maybe it'll be 75, who knows? But you guys will be able to see that in the budget report card. So I'm going to do my numbers one last time. And then I'll stay on briefly to answer any questions. And then we'll wrap it up because this is, I know it's Sunday morning. People got stuff to do. Okay. Minus 32, or actually I'll do my allocated spending and then we'll wrap it up. Minus 240, minus 49.99, minus 400, minus 125, 170.17, minus 1,600. All right, so it does equal that. It equals 0. So and I know that this one probably just coming in, yeah, Risha said have you been watching Netflix? Yeah, it's 100%. It's just an easy way to like zone out. It's not really healthy, but it's just what I've been doing while I've been healing. But yep, 100%. So what you guys saw me do with scratching out all of these numbers was me trying to get this number to equal 0, because if you watch the first part, you will see that I didn't allocate anything for therapy. Dorinda said, are non-budget related questions allowed? Sure thing. I didn't allocate anything for therapy. And I wanted to do some stuff for medical, pocket money, and B-Day, but in order to get my budget to equal zero, that's where I had to go back in and reconcile the numbers. And that's the point of these budget forms. It's not just for you to be like, well, this is what I want to spend here, this is what I want to do. It's like, we know I want to do all the things. And generally when we sit down, we want to do all the things, but we can't do all the things. So it's important to prioritize what we're going to do. And so these budget numbers reflect my priority, and they bring me to a zero-based budget. So now that I know where my money is going to go, now I'm going to tell it when to go there. And this is the allocated spending form, which is the hardest form to do, which is the form that most people skip, which is really, it makes sense that we skip it because it's the hardest one to do, but it really, in terms of really making these forms work, is such a important form to do. And so what I do is I pay myself twice. I'm going to pay myself I usually pay myself on the 1st and the 15th, or the 5th and the 20th, or something like that. I'm going to pay myself on the 1st and the 15th this month, just because I really want to just get everything taken care of. There's a part of me that just wants to pay myself on the 1st and just pay everything and not have to deal. But that's not necessarily a habit that I want to maintain, because in the future, when my company is larger and I have employees, I'm not going to pay them all at once. So I'm going to put, 11.1 and 11.15. And my income is $5,000, so I'm going to pay myself $2,500 here and then $2,500 here. And so what I will do is, and so what you kind of essentially do is, out of the pay period, you're going to write down, what am I going to pay out of the pay period? Because it's not just important to know what you're going to pay. It's also important to know when you're going to pay it, because most people get tripped up here because most of our larger expenses come out at the beginning of the month, and then it's like a broke check and a check where we have money, and we can't really figure out why we don't have as much money as we want. And so that's what this form helps to do. So I'm going to go ahead and pay my tithes. I like to pay my tithes right at the beginning of the month. It just lets me know that it's all taken care of and I don't have to worry about it. So then it'll be $2,000 left. I like also to pay my child support at the beginning of the month, because it lets me know that that's all taken care of. So with those two things out of the way, my rent, I'm going to stay in this column, but just so you guys know, my rent is always a month ahead, so I don't have to pay it at the beginning of the month. So I choose to pay it on the 15th. So I'll come back to that, but my utilities will come out at the beginning of the month. So we'll go ahead and take those out. Can you guys see that? Okay. And then my phone bill. All right. Then, so that's how much I have there. What else do I have for expenses? Gym and all that stuff comes out towards the end of the month. Thanksgiving is at the end of the month. My insurances, that would be the next thing that I would pay at the beginning of the month. I probably should also get some groceries. Let me get some groceries first. See where I'm at. I'm gonna go ahead and do I'm gonna take out $100 in cash so I can stick to my grocery budget. And that leaves me $1304.18. And I usually do my Uber. I mean, I haven't really been spending very much in my Uber. So, but I'll still just give myself the $25 for the first 2 weeks. And then I'll do $25 for the next 2 weeks. That's been awesome to really not have a very high transportation bill. It really cuts down on a lot of costs. So then let me come over to my insurance. Well, actually my life insurance doesn't come out until the end of the month. Health coverage doesn't come out. My renter's insurance comes out at the beginning. So let me allocate that. And then dental, I'm going to allocate that for dental care. I'm going to allocate that at the, you know, guys, what I also could do for the dental care is I do have a little bit of a sinking. I don't want to do it that way. Never mind. I'm going to allocate that at the beginning of the month. So then I have 1, 2, 3, 43 left. Therapy comes out at the end. Thanksgiving, all that stuff comes out at the end. Okay, so even though I have personal things that I could potentially take out at the beginning of the month, I'm not going to take them out at the beginning of the month because that's just genuinely when they wouldn't genuinely be coming out at that time. And the same thing with my student loans. It's also really awesome that instead of having a whole bunch of numbers here, I literally just have the one. That's super cool. So essentially from my first pay period remaining in my checking account will be, and I'm just going to put this as like a little credit, will be $1,200. $23.43. And so, you guys can't see that. So this is what's dangling in my checking account. So in order for my allocated spending form to read as a zero-based budget, I have to bring this number up and add it to this number, because the new balance in my checking account on the 15th will be this amount, and everything else that I'm going to take out should be able to be subtracted from this amount and equal 0, because this form has to equal 0 as well as your cash flow form equaling 0. So I know that that seems a little bit confusing, so I'll just explain it again. So first, I paid myself on the 1st, and I said, okay, these are all of the bills that I'm going to take care of on the 1st, or, you know, between the 1st and the 3rd or whatever, whenever I send those checks out. Once I took care of everything that I wanted to take care of at the beginning of the month, this is how much I would still have in my checking account unless some other expenses came out. And rather than continuing to take expenses out between the 1st and the 15th, because that's not actually what I would really do, I'm going to leave this money in my checking account, and it becomes a part of the new balance that begins to be withdrawn on the 15th. So now I'm subtracting from this $3,723.43. And the first thing that will come out is my rent, which leaves $276.80. Like, if you can get to the point where you understand this form, it'll change your whole life. It just really makes all the world of a difference. I didn't love it before, but kind of loving it now. I'm going to take out my second part of my transportation budget. And then that is all equals 0. Then I'm going to come and take out the rest of my insurances. So I have my life insurance at $26.27. And then I have my health coverage at $150. Oh, shoot. Dang it. I didn't get that number. I needed to write that other number down. Okay. Sorry, guys. I got to do this over really quick because I need the first number. Minus $2,768. Okay. Then minus 27643. Yes. Then minus 2627 equals 2,735.16 minus 150. 2,585.16. Okay, so those are my insurances, and then I come down here to my wants. Hold on, you guys can't see that. Sorry, spread it out and y'all couldn't see it. So I'm just gonna change these names. Therapy, it's like my top priority. Gym, trainer. Thanksgiving, and then medical. All right, so then we will take out therapy, and that does just get debited at the end of the month. Like I do all my sessions, and then she just debits it at the end of the month. Oh, oops, shoot, I'm right there. I wrote that in the wrong line. Sorry, guys. 240, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 16. Then minus my gym membership. Oh man, it's just, even just writing this down, it feels really good to see. I didn't do that right. It feels really good to just see how this is. It's like I can feel it all shaking out. I didn't put that in there right. Yep, I didn't put that in there right either. Okay, equals 2,295.17 minus 400. Just knowing when it's going to come out and that there's going to be money in your account to take care of it, it just feels like a blessing. Feels great. Minus 125 equals 170, 70, 17. Yes, 170.17, then minus 170.17 equals 1,600. Boom, there you go. And then on my last form here, just put student loan 1,600 equals 0. So I'm gonna go over that really quick because I know that I'm gonna go over it because I feel like I went through that really fast. So, and let me put them in order. Okay, so for my allocated spending, the reason why I love this form is because this is the form that tells your money when to go, where it's going to go. This is the form that reduces your anxiety. Like if you have any anxiety about your budget still, it's because you're not doing this form. If you do this form, you know exactly what paycheck is going to take care of what. Like even as I'm sitting here doing this, like I just relaxed like by another 50%, and I didn't even know I was feeling uptight about it. But now that I know that on the 1st, these are the things that are going to come out, and on the 15th, these are the things that are going to come out, I just feel like amazing. So on the 1st, I'm going to pay my tithes. I'm going to pay my child support. I'm going to take care of my electricity, my gas, and my cell phone bill. I'm also going to pull out my $100 grocery budget because I want to be a little tighter because I'm eating cleaner this month, and also because of Thanksgiving, there'll be like a full week where I won't be needing to pay for my own food. And I was kind of being ridiculous the last couple of months. Not ridiculous. It wasn't intentionally ridiculous, but that was just the way the cookie crumbled because I did so much traveling. Like in October, I think I was mentioning that I've been home like 7 total days. So I was gone a lot, which affects how I eat. And, you know, I don't like wasting food and stuff. So anywho, and then gas, I took my gas out. Then I took out my homeowner's insurance, my renter's insurance, and my dental care, which left me a remaining balance of $1,223.43. I credited that to myself in my checking account, meaning it's sitting in my checking account. So I went ahead and added it to the deposit that I would be making on the 15th. Because I'm aware that what was in my checking account and the new deposit is going to be reflected in the balance that gets subtracted from in the month, which gave me a new starting balance on the 15th of $3,723.43. The first thing that I'm going to take out at that time is my rent, which I'm super grateful again that my rent is paid a month in advance. Then I'm going to pay for the second part of my transportation, which is another $25. Then I'm going to take care of my life insurance and my health coverage. After that, I'm going to move into my wants, and that means going to therapy 4 times, my gym membership, my trainer, visiting home for Thanksgiving, and putting a little bit of money towards my son's potential medical bills. And then last but certainly not least, paying the minimum payment on my student loans this month, which is $1,600. So that feels amazing. Like I literally feel like I could close my eyes. Not any of this stuff is set up on automatic debit, but I feel like I could close my eyes this month financially and I would just be fine. like like I feel like some months like I have to really pay attention, but this is one of those months that's like you don't have to pay attention because every single thing really seriously for real like just has a place to go and it's completely allocated and it's just very clear. So now I'm going to hang out for about 5 more minutes and just quickly answer some of your questions that you guys have. KG6559 said, are you okay? You disappeared for a while. I am okay. I am just this is okay. This is what I believe, right? So dang it. How you just gonna bust out with this the hardest question in all the land? All right. So this is one of the things that I feel. So you guys know that I make a living through talking, and I do that through speaking, I do it through teaching, and I do it through influencing. The videos that I do on YouTube and the content that I put on my podcast and the content that I do on Instagram is all content that I'm technically producing in real time. So I'm not like, even though I'll batch, no, KG6559, it's okay. Because I've been wanting to, I thought I had explained it, but clearly I didn't explain it clear enough. And so I batch some of that content and there's a system and stuff like that for that content. But for the most part, that content is coming from my current state of being. And one of the things that I believe about words is that they are incredibly powerful. And I think one of the most dangerous things that any person can do is speak over someone else's life when they are not in a good place. And even though mentally I'm in a great place, like, in terms of like therapy and soundness of mind, like my heart is very tender. And if I were to speak top of mind, there would probably be things that I would speak directly from my heart that would not be what I consider to be healthy for me to be speaking over someone's life, because words are just too powerful. So that's a part of it, is that words are just too powerful to not be practiced before you share them with other people. And when I say practice, I don't necessarily mean that like I'm practicing things verbatim word for word, but I'm saying practice in that like these things that I'm sharing are coming from a deeper part of me that I've lived or I've felt or I've experienced. And a lot of what I'm experiencing right now is so new. And I want to be mindful of not spreading that to other human beings, because I just think that words are too powerful for something like that to happen. So that's a part of it, is that genuinely I want to protect the minds and the hearts of my community and everybody who's trusted me to be able to share thoughtfully with you all, and words are really powerful. So that's a part of it. The second part of it is that in me healing and in me like dealing with everything that I'm dealing with, I'm just not processing as fast as I normally would be able to process, because I'm actually like hurting, right? So it's like, imagine if somebody was like you had like a I don't know, you broke your leg and then somebody asked you a simple question of oh, what do you think about this? It's like, even though you have the answer to that question, you can't think about the answer to the question. You're not processing the answer to the question, even though you have it, because your leg is hurting. So that's kind of how it is right now. It's like my leg is hurting so bad that simple questions, I'm not processing them fast enough to give answers that I actually have. And so it just, for me, I'm just like, well, my health and all that stuff is my number one priority. And right now, while your leg is bleeding out, like, even if you wanted to, you couldn't respond the way that you would normally be able to respond. So words are powerful, and I don't want to just be expressing words that are not well thought out. And then second, I don't have access to as much of my words and my vocabulary as I otherwise would, because I'm just in a lot of pain. As it relates to the influencing side, on the coaching and the speaking side, that's a little bit easier for me to still do that work, because a lot of that work are speeches or it's speeches that I've already done. And so I'm not making up new stuff. I'm remembering something that I've created or something that I prepared in advance for this upcoming event. And same thing with coaching. It's just like, coaching, it's about being present to someone else and walking them through what they're going through, as opposed to having to respond to some out of nowhere question that could potentially come up, which I potentially have the answer to. But again, because I'm processing at a slower rate because of the pain, I'm not able to access my responses the way that I would prefer. So that's essentially where I've been, is really just honoring the season and taking the time to heal properly, so that way I can be, I can continue to do this work. Like, I want to do this work for the rest of my life. And so I don't have a sense of urgency or obligation to do it all the time. Like, I mean, obviously with my budget stuff, like I really do I feel like an accountability and a responsibility there, that I want to make sure that I get that content out to you guys. But as far as other stuff that is just a part of my influencing work and not just a part of what I was intentionally sowing into the community, it's easier for me to say, okay, I'm going to pull back on that real time content and give my mind and my heart some rest so that it's not trying to process so many things. So I hope that answers your question. Yes, Dorinda, I'm glad I'm doing well mentally as well. So that is that's the point, right? The point is to make sure that never gets out of whack. And I think sometimes we push ourselves. And I remember telling my therapist, I was like, no, I can actually afford to not push myself. Like, I'm no longer in survival mode, so I don't have to act like that anymore. And I feel like, honestly, had other times in my life I had time to actually process in a healthy way, maybe perhaps this wouldn't be hitting me as as heavy as it's hitting me. But I think that a lot of times, like, we go through stuff and we don't have the time to process it because financially we're not in a position to be able to do that, or whatever the circumstances, we're just not in a position to be able to do that. But I am in a position to do it, and I'm going to take full advantage of that, because you guys know my mental and emotional psychological health is really important to me. Dorinda Nicole said, is speaker training still happening? Yes, it's still happening. It's up in the air a little bit because of what I had mentioned before. Even though the content for that was produced, the November date is not there because I have a scheduling conflict with the speaking engagement. The January date is tentative because of a little bit of what I just mentioned. I want to make sure that when I'm bringing you guys out for me to pour in over a couple of days, that, you're getting the very best of everything. So once I kind of get very clear on that, like, I'll send out more information. But it is definitely happening. But I also have other events that are happening in 2020. So I'm trying to think through and prioritize what those are going to be. But I promise that I will give you enough time to be able to make the investment and get here without like a crazy extreme like transportation costs and stuff like that. Like, I will be resolved and decided about it before it's too near to the end. Let's see. Rashia, I think is how you say it. The difference in your voice for when you started to now is incredible. It really did help. I don't know if that's for me or if that's for someone else. But if it's for me, I appreciate that. Anna said, will you be doing a grocery haul video soon? Probably not. Probably not. But when I do, I will express sort of some of the things that tie into that, but probably not. Probably not this month. IE Presents said, Rashia, she promised to celebrate those with us, so I think she's just acknowledging her intention to keep the promise. Yes, definitely still have a 2 debts to celebrate with you. I had mentioned in the other video that I still have the IRS debt to celebrate with you, and I also have I think we decided that every 10K we would celebrate on the student loan, so I've done 10K, so I have that to celebrate with you guys as well. Yeah, when I say, oh, you guys, I meant more like, like, you guys are really, really a part of like this journey. I enjoy celebrating. So not, oh, as in like indebted in a bad way, but oh, as in like, oh, it's coming, it's coming. So yeah. I'm trying to see. Yeah, I'm really excited to see how I move forward as well. Once I'm debt free, like it's happening, guys. Like it's like it's blowing my mind. Um, yeah, I kept doing the allocated spending forms off camera, but that's not wise. So I definitely need to stop doing that. IE Presents said, can you say what happened last night? Yeah, it froze like 3 times. And then the last time it froze, like I held on for like 10 minutes and it didn't come back. And then it went out. And then at first it was saying like error. It wouldn't even upload the video. So before I went live again, I wanted to make sure that that video got uploaded. And so it took maybe, I don't know, 10-15 minutes after I finally like canceled out for it to actually upload, which it doesn't usually take that long. So then like once it uploaded, I was like, okay, let me try to get back on. And then I couldn't get back on, and I was like, all right, YouTube, fine. So yeah, I'm trying to see if there are any more. Minnie C. Riley, Wealthy Cam Girl. Did you visit Ramsey Studios the other day? Month. Yes, I was there at the Dave Ramsey Studios, which I will be talking more about that soon. I'm still very much digesting all that experience was. It was very, very incredible. So you guys, like some of the stuff that I'm processing is the heavy part, hard part. My leg is bleeding out. But some of the stuff has just been really amazing, incredible opportunities. Like I had the opportunity to spend some time with Dave Ramsey, and that like kind of blew my mind. So I'm still trying to, wrap my mind around that experience and just, process that whole experience as well. But I definitely will bring you guys into the loop on that very, very soon. So that is all that I have for you all today. You guys will be getting a budget report card because I do want to show you what I did with my November money. And we will talk to each other very, very soon. Dorinda, I'll send you a link. I'll just email you a link directly and you can just use that to sign up. And okay. All right, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.